Alexander Isak. He is looking like a fabulous player. Now, Newcastle have turned a new leaf this season. This season they are extraordinary. Yes, probably their best season in the Premier League over the last 4 or 5 years has been the season where they got top 4. And I would agree with that because it has been their best season so far. But this season might be a different level. Now, this season, they're a team that other teams fear because they have one of the best teams in Europe and probably the Premier League. Eddie Howe has done a great job at Newcastle, a brilliant job since he's been there. Let's just talk about Alexander Isak. He has been absolutely amazing this season. He's been absolutely astonishing. Now, you can't say any less, can you? He's been absolutely astonishing this season. He has made the Premier League his baby. And, yeah, he is a striker that most teams have feared this season. And, yeah, it was class when Liverpool drew 3-3 to Newcastle. He was great in that game. And, obviously he signed from Real Sociedad to Newcastle just a couple of seasons ago. And it's worked out. It has really worked out. Anthony Gordon as well has been absolutely brilliant as well. I think more people should be highlighting that. But on the whole, Alexander Isak has probably been the main man for Newcastle this season. It's been a great season for the Swede, and I can't believe it's going this well, if I'm really honest, because I'm going to be completely honest, I knew who Isak was before he signed for Newcastle, mainly because of FIFA, but, I never knew he would be this good at Newcastle. For the first, he scored, he was scoring for Newcastle when he first signed, but for the first sort of few months after that, I was kind of thinking, where's this Alexander Isak gone? He's not doing anything. But then this season, he's just popped out of nowhere. And he's just... he's detonating every team in the Premier League. Newcastle have beaten a lot of teams this season. They're unlucky not to be in the top 4. They're really unlucky not to be in the top 4. I think they will achieve the Champions League this season. If Chelsea keep getting bad results and Newcastle keep winning, I think that Newcastle will be getting the top 4 this season. But, yeah, it's for me, it's strange because I'm used to seeing teams like Man City and Arsenal and Chelsea doing this sort of stuff. Not Newcastle. Newcastle have been amazing this season. I'm not going to take anything away from them. Newcastle. What do you mean they've been Newcastle? They've been great this season. But, one standout player is Alexander Isak. He's been Newcastle's best player by far. Yes, Anthony Gordon has been there a lot of times this season, but Isak is... there are people saying that he's the best striker in the Premier League. I think he probably is. He's the best striker in the Premier League. Liverpool fans will be screaming at me right now saying, no, it's Salah, it's Salah. Salah is a forward. A forward can mean many different things. He's the best forward in the league. Isak is the best striker in the league. There is a difference. So, yeah. Isak, I'd say this season he's top 5 in the best players, but he's an absolute dinosaur. He is fierce. His striking power is off the charts because he can score goals. He can really score goals. Newcastle have upset a lot of teams this season. Liverpool, obviously, I wasn't expecting that result against Newcastle, but they just beat Arsenal in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. And Isak scored in that one as well as Anthony Gordon. And I think Newcastle have been a great team this season. And if Liverpool are to get through both legs of this Carabao Cup and get into the final, and Newcastle also get into the final, I'm not going to lie, I will be nervous, really nervous, because Newcastle could do something against Liverpool. They really could do something against Liverpool. They've done it this season. We were lucky to get a draw out of the game. We've been lucky to get a draw out of many games this season. Like, we played Nottingham Forest in a couple of weeks. I am absolutely petrified. But yeah, Newcastle have been brilliant this season. They really have. And I don't think Newcastle fans could have asked for much more. They've been better than we thought they would have. Like, they look like getting relegated a couple of seasons ago, and they've totally reversed that. They have totally reversed that by being one of the best teams in the Premier League, which to me is, I still can't get my head around that. Because Alexander Isak in the Premier League has been absolutely awesome. Obviously, he was a decent player as well when he played for Real Sociedad, but I'd say he's been an even better player playing for Newcastle, because he has been electric so far in the Newcastle strike force. And I really do think he could have a great career at Newcastle. Whether he leaves or not is a different sort of matter. But honestly, if he leaves Newcastle, a major club are going to pick him up, really. Like, I'm talking Barcelona, Milan, Inter Milan, possibly Real Madrid. I'm talking about a lot of big clubs wanting to sign Alexander Isak, because he has been an outstanding player this season so far, and we're still only in January. So, like, there's still a lot more time to go. Obviously, I don't think he's going to beat Salah's record of 18 goals this season in the Premier League. That is going to be quite hard to beat. But his own respective stats are absolutely outstanding. He scored a lot of goals this season, and Newcastle need goals. And I'd say over the past sort of 2 years, 3 years, Newcastle have improved and grown massively. Now, this team 2 or 3 years ago, obviously I've just said it, we were talking about them being relegated. Now we're talking about them getting Champions League yet again. Yet again. I think they're going to get Champions League. I think Chelsea will get Europa League and Newcastle will get Champions League. I can really see Newcastle getting top 4 this season. Obviously, they were in the Champions League last season and were a bit off the mark last season, but I think you can see why. Were they in the Champions League last season? Yeah, they were in the Champions League last season. They were a bit off the mark this season. I think that's because they had another competition alongside the Premier. I think that's because they had the European competition alongside the Premier League, alongside the FA Cup, alongside the Carabao Cup. They had 4 competitions to play in, whereas teams like Villa and Forest only had the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League. So they only had 3 competitions played, and hence why those 2 teams played better than Newcastle did. But yeah, Aston Villa were outstanding last season, and that is because of this, I think. But yeah, Newcastle have been absolutely outstanding this season. All of their players have had a part to play, especially Alexander Isak. And I feel like if he's to move next summer, he's going to move to a very big club. He's going to move to a very, very, very big club. Like, possibly another Premier League club. But I think he'll move to, like, another European club. But yeah, this season has been outstanding. There's still more yet of him to come. So, like, I enjoy watching him. I really do. I really enjoy watching Alexander Isak. He's one of the best Swedish players there is. Like, obviously, you've got Victor Gyökeres in Liga Portugal. He's been fantastic over the last 12 months as well. But Alexander Isak, like, he's so underrated. I feel like he's so underrated. And not enough people talk about him. Like, no disrespect to any of these players, but it's all just been talk about Haaland, Mohamed Salah, Cole Palmer, those sort of players. And I don't feel like anyone really talks about Alexander Isak, and he's so underrated. Anthony Gordon is also underrated as well. Both are really good players and could turn into probably world-class players. But, yeah, Alexander Isak, honestly, not disrespecting Newcastle in any way, but if Alexander Isak gets an offer from a big club, I think he should take it. Because he could become a world-class player if he takes an offer such as Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona. But he could also make his own history at Newcastle as well, which I think he would like to do. So yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Which means like, subscribe, turn post notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.